This 3, 2, 1. Hey, welcome to TDD.Academy, where weekly we've been showing up and doing some kind of iOS work. This is David Koontz. He's looking a little different today. David, who's your stylist? What's going on here?
My dog was playing on the computer, and we did this thing, and I don't know how to fix it. So
are you going to show up to court looking like this?
I'm going to court like this. Yeah. I went to the courthouse today. They said come back. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
all right.
yeah.
Nice one. I like that. I think maybe that should be a feature, random like filters popping up, and yeah, nice. Cool. Yeah. So clearly you're ready to do some coding today. And I remember you were saying something about doing something different today.
Yeah, lots different on the front. So I'm in a different code base than usual. We're not playing baseball anymore.
Really?
Yeah, we're in this code base that
hockey.
I wrote for
hockey?
some copies.
Say hockey.
Not hockey. No. Yeah, no, I don't know anything about hockey. Do you?
Yeah, I am a how do I say, a rollerblade hockeyer, and then moved into ice as well. So used to. I haven't played probably for about 7 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, I was the crazy guy who liked to skate backwards. And
okay.
So
really?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I can't skate forwards or backwards. So
I was always on the edge of control. That was sort of my thing. It's like, oh, he's out of control. Maybe not. That would scare him away too.
Maybe he's just faking it so that it sucks the players in.
Yeah.
Okay. No, we're in a different app. This is the Toolbox app, and it is basically a digitization. It's easy to say. A digitization of a set of cards for an agile coach, agile coaching cards.
Yeah.
And I'm remaking this app for another colleague in Germany. And so I got to rebuild it all with some new stuff and some different features and everything. And I thought it'd be nice if I put in some tests.
Get out of here.
So
tests? What would you do that for?
Yeah, crazy as it sounds, I started out doing some tests.
Hey, you have an opportunity to do some advertisement here. What is this app we're working in, and how do people buy it?
Oh, it's not on the. It's Agile Coaching Toolbox by Ben Lenders from Germany, and it's not in the App Store yet. But the other app that this is borrowed from is Inspire Me Cards from Lisa Atkins, and that is in the App Store. Go download it now.
All right.
Okay, I bet it's going to
expire. Everyone.
Yeah. So Lisa Atkins, Inspire Me Now cards.
Lisa Atkins, a very good agile coach of agile coaches. She helps people get inspired to change themselves or change the organization.
Yeah. I worked with her, and she's very good at what she does. And so this basic code is the same code that runs her app. I'm going to reuse it to run a different app of different set of cards with some different features and stuff. And I didn't write her app with any test in mind. So I decided when I started this other project, I'm like, okay, now that I know how to do TDD, I'm going to write some tests for it. And so you can see here, I wrote quite a few tests for the model that is in the app, which is really just the model is just cards and a deck, some user settings, some stuff to work with the App Store, which products you buy in the App Store and stuff like that. So it's a very, very small model of just cards that fit in a deck. And then the deck has a few methods on it. one of which is really hard to test, man. A couple are hard to test, actually.
All right.
So I'm glad you're here, Lance.
Wow. You came to the right
So-
academy. If you would have went to just write the code academy, they would have said, okay, just keep writing the code.
I think I did go to the Write the Code Academy.
Just write the code academy.
Just Write the Code Academy, kid. Yeah, there should be a kid on the end of that. Yeah.
It worked on my machine academy.
Yeah. And
Build failed.
Oh,
why is the build failing?
the Macintosh is unhappy. Oh, phase execution.
Oh, what the heck is this going to be?
CF bundle version does not exist. File does not exist, and it gives a big path, and it's going debug something something info plist. Phase.
Now this was working. So this was working just the other day, and now it's failing.
Is this a
So
restart the Xcode issue, or is this something more complicated? We'll find out, I guess.
well, it's failing in my code that tries to go out and get the version from Git, the Git host, and then pull in the version so that it can do the right version associated and auto number the code. And my guess is that things are just out of sync and it's looking in the wrong file for some reason because I don't know. But we're going to try to build again.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan. A path looks like a derived data toolbox and a computer generated string. That seems like a caching area.
Yeah, so
I don't think you created HHJDTADHSB blah 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 blah. I don't think you wrote that in there.
Build succeeded.
Yeah, that's my password.
I gotta snapshot that.
Okay, it built that time. It's got this one problem with request review is deprecated, but we're ignoring that for now.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, you got to fix me. That's the classic move to say, hey, somebody else look at this. I'm not gonna right now.
I ain't messing with it. Yeah, classic fix me move, right? Did they teach that in the TDD.Academy, or did I learn that from the Just Write the Code kids?
Yeah, I think just write the code. That sounds like a move because, why should you be bothered with that detail, David? You put the comment there. That was good enough. You walk away at that point. You're done. Your job is done. I wrote fix me in the comment. Someone else handle that for me. It's called delegation. Don't forget that, folks.
Yeah, I didn't even put a what to fix out here.
Well, it's just that one line somewhere. Well, I assume maybe it's not.
Well, you know what the best thing is that it shows up as a Band-Aid icon.
Oh, sweet.
Isn't that cool?
Nice.
I mean, I put some fix me's in my code just to have a Band-Aid.
All right. I like it.
Yeah.
We could have a stack of cards maybe next time. Let's have the stack of cards icon in there.
Yeah, I need a good icon. Okay, we're back over to the toolbox. And we've got these two model classes, card and deck. And then we want to go into the deck. And the problem I'm having here, Lance, is I've got a random card function. And I'm going, test a random card. And I just, for the life of me, I can't figure out how I'm going to test that. I mean, I could test that a card comes back and it could be any of the 50 some cards in the deck. This deck actually has 53. So
what a joker.
You're just full of the puns today. I like it.
Got the puns running hot today, yeah.
Yeah. So let me see. Where are the tests?
So what is this? We're in a class called Deck Swift. So it sounds like we need to write a test. Oh, you got one. Deck tests Swift. All right.
And so here's the random card test.
All right. So, by the way, do you want to run these tests? Have we run any of the test suite yet before we get to coding?
Yeah.
I don't want to be held responsible for any weird mistakes that, that are in there from just Code It Academy.
You're denying responsibility.
I like to know if we're starting out in a good environment, folks.
Okay, so you don't trust my environment,
Well,
as
man, you just had a cat running. What was it? A cat or a dog running across your keyboard that turned on filters for you. So I don't know what your code's going to be working, how it's going to work.
Okay, I'm not putting on a good face, am I? Okay, we're running the test here, buddy.
All right, launching Toolbox tests.
It's taking forever.
Testing.
These are just unit tests, though. They're not Swifty tests.
Okay. Interesting. There it goes.
Boom, shakalaka. What is that?
Oh,
I hit a breakpoint.
Oh.
Darn it. I wonder if I can remove that breakpoint and keep going.
There should be a continue button somewhere, but I don't know.
Don't stop.
Yeah, that button. I think that's continue. Unpause. All right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
test random and test dump.
Yeah.
What in the world? Let's take a quick look at test dump. Maybe we don't care, but let's take a quick look. I guess I can. Yeah. What are we doing in there? Okay.
We're dumping the cards, the cards in the random order that they're in, so that I can look at them and do a lot of test manual validation of the card deck.
Okay.
So
here, let me see if I remember how to do this. If I tap this and this, I don't remember how to disable it with is it in here? Drat.
are you trying to?
I was going to disable that later.
Are you trying to work on my screen?
Yeah.
Test failed.
I wasn't able to bring up a context menu. I think if you bring up a context menu on the runner, oh, there it is.
You want to disable the test dump?
Yeah.
It doesn't change it on the screen, but it over here it changes it to gray. You can barely see it there.
Nice. All right. Because it sounds
so,
like you're not supporting it right now. It was an experiment. You maybe want to.
Yeah.
I'm rerunning now. Test random card. I thought.
Yeah, and I'm okay.
Let's see here. No, I'm being.
Build succeeded.
There we are.
It's building. It's starting up the
Test
test
succeeded.
engine, and it succeeded that time.
All right.
Randomly.
Did it? Because are you saying if I run it again, it might not?
Yeah.
Build succeeded.
Want to bet?
Succeeded.
Oh! I don't know. All right, wait. What's this test doing? It's checking that. Okay, so look at this, folks. He's got something that does randomness, and he's got a test working. That's actually unusual. Let's see what's going on. So he's got assert equals that card index is 0 for the deck.
Yep.
I think that's the starting condition.
Yeah, it's setting it up and making sure that we set it up correctly, and then we're calling deck random card, which resets the card index to a random number between 1 and 53, and then we're asserting that it's not equal to 0.
Oh, it's always
See
equal.
how I made my test
not
pass?
equal to 0. There we are. As long as you don't get a 0th card out. So you have a 1 in 53 chance of having that test ever fail as is.
Yeah.
Oh, you wrote it here in the comment too. Why am I even using my hand? I should be reading these comments. Nice job. Wow, you predicted that marvelously. It was good that you set me up by saying there was 53 cards. Otherwise, it would look stupid saying 52.
I missed my opportunity.
Wow. Test deck. Okay, did you have a print in here? What's that about? Oh, you just probably file ID and function.
I was trying out something I saw in the inner tubes.
Oh.
So this magic pink stuff here prints out the file name and the function name for you in your print stuff. So here I get this stuff that I used to type in the front. And have to type it all in.
Mm-hmm.
I get it automatically for free now
Wow.
with the print statement.
So you have a bunch of, yeah, I see. You're trying something out. You're not expecting to use print all over in your test now, are you?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. You don't want all that. You don't want all that noise. You only want to know about it when it fails. So if you were to do this, I would say, I think XTC assert should take a comment or a string message. Let me see here. So
Yeah.
first, yeah, don't have your test talk. So we're supposed to use the silence is golden rule with tests. Basically, don't bother us if everything's going good, and then bother us if they're not. But yeah, if you cared to have that information, oh my goodness, how do I get the?
Can I do it for you?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm trying to get the information on that API
Oh, I don't know.
because
You have to
there's a good. Oh, I see how you're gonna do it. Yeah, that's true.
It's not playing. What is the? It's not playing nice right now. I don't know why.
It was
There. So
Okay.
let me see. We want.
So there was a assert not equal that takes maybe a message, and then you can add a message, and then you could use that information for the message. That way,
Yeah, I
the
think it's-
assert will bother you when something fails, but otherwise be quiet. What is this?
I think this is the message right here. Is you get
Probably.
put it in there. It's the third argument.
Let's just see if it builds.
Okay, just a second. I don't know if you'll be able to use those things
All
though.
right, that passed. That's an interesting point. I don't know.
Yeah. So I might use
You're right.
that.
I don't think it
But,
would work.
But then
You'd have to generate the string and then do it. Anyways, I would be surprised you really need this because doesn't your test runner should tell you where the problem is when you look at
yeah, it should.
that.
And it
but
should probably yeah.
I
So
understand.
let's make that test. All right. So that's a pretty lame test. You caught me, doing the 1 in 53 chance that it's so yeah. How do you test something that's doing a random? I got this other one, a shuffle, which is basically the same thing. You're just supposed to shuffle the deck, which means that now the deck is in a new random order. I don't know how to test that one either.
Something's going on here. I think I'm getting a call. Let me see who. Hey, Taylor. Hey, we're just doing a show right now.
Hi, Taylor.
Yeah, hey, thanks for watching the show, Taylor. Oh, he says he sent me a deck to show the audience about our quandary, he says.
He's
Really,
fat.
Taylor? I'm glad you're such a big fan. Thank you, man.
Yeah, cool.
He says he has this up on his IMAX at home.
Okay. Hey, tell your
Home
friends to
IMAX.
watch,
Come
Taylor.
on. That guy.
Taylor Swift he's a character, man.
I don't know, that guy. Why does he? Yeah, he's a... All right, see
Look
what we
up
got
that
here.
deck he sent you.
Sorry?
Look up the deck he sent you.
Yeah. Here it is. I don't know that you can see it, David, but let's see here. So this is Taylor again. The close in the code or the measure of the man. He in the past he told us that the bearing of proper micro tests is as follows: executes in milliseconds, doesn't use a network, doesn't use file systems, never a flake, always properly styled and readable and maintainable.
It's just like
Basically, it could execute on an airplane. In Taylor's case, he probably has a little, his corporate jet that he jets around in.
Yeah.
But I guess the flake part would be the problem. What we would have is we have a 153 chance of failing, and then if we, actually want to care about specifics, we would have a much higher chance of failing. So Taylor thought about this. He's at his pool, doing some coding, and then he told us we shouldn't do these things, but then he never told us how. And so what the heck's up with that? And so Taylor, after hanging out in the pool underwater for a while, holding his breath, doing all that stuff that Taylor likes to do, he came up with epiphany, and he said,
He
"Oh
had
yeah,
epiphany?
you should use mock objects to keep your micro tests micro." So
what's a mock object, Taylor?
Yeah.
Taylor, what are you mocking me with, man?
And then Taylor was thinking about this because even a tailor when he has a customer come over, like the one on screen, he has, he can do some measurements, but if he has to, keeps calling back to come back and try out some different things, the customer starts getting annoyed. And so he had to solve this problem too. And so, he had a cup of tea, or actually I think that's an espresso, and thought about it for a while. And then he came up with, well, I just need to make a mock person using a mannequin. And then I can isolate myself from having the person come in live all the time, and I can get my tailoring done.
Huh.
So some of his, his suggestions are, he said there's a number of mocking strategies. One is a partial mock under part. The thing that you want to test, you mock part of it rather than all of it. You would never want to mock all of it because you actually want to test the thing that's under test, but you might want to mock part of it. So you could extract, for example, in our case, this is just an option, we could extract that method, the random part of the code, into something that we can override within our test, so that our test can say like, hey, random's going to return 5. And then the test can then check to see if it does return 5, we get the 5th card out of the index. Another strategy is to not change the class under test at all, but have the code that needs to be adjusted, be able to inject a mock object in its place. So, for example, we could have a class that's responsible for returning back card indexes or the actual card in a random order. And that object would be something within the greater object, which is, I forgot what was it, deck. Deck would have within itself a smaller piece for the random, a class that it would use for random. And we could put in a mock in there in order to create a unit test that fixes what random means to 5. So in our universe, random would always mean 5 or 4, or we can change it. A third idea, or third option with mock objects is you can inject a function. So if we have a functional language, we could allow Deck to, users of Deck can tell Deck, hey, use this function for random because I want to change it to different types of random. And in our case, it wouldn't be random at all. It'd be like one number. And then if you're using really old school language, maybe like C, or you're using Swift, you could use precompiler flags to swap out your real object with the mock objects, and that's another way of I suppose that would be called injection still, but I'm not sure about that. That's a little bit weird. So that's what Tailor had for us. Maybe we should try one of those things out.
That's a lot in the toolbox, Tailor.
Yeah. Wow. All that from the slide deck. Thanks, Tailor.
Yeah. Good job.
So I guess if we look at the random card, what you have under test is Deck. That's the thing you were testing, and you want to see if you get back a random card, and that you want to see that Deck.card. Okay, so you have the ability to get the card index out. So that's cool. That's how you're able to check in on what's happening. So yeah, let's take a look at random card.
Okay. Jumping into random, let me see, where is the navigate to
jump to definition.
Jump to definition. It's the first one. Look. Okay. There's random. And look, random might have a few print statements in it, okay? You mean to get rid of these print statements?
Yeah, I would, but
I know you well enough to know that you would get rid of my print statements. I like my print statement. I'm an old school guy.
Anything you have to print, then you have to manually look at, and I don't want to deal with that. I'd have to write another thing to read my code, read my print statements for me. So,
okay, this is quite complex stuff that I got off the internet somewhere.
The random part?
Well, yeah, this whole thing. But here's the secret of it, is that it uses the built-in Swifty function int and a random method on top of int that takes in this range operator. Are you familiar with the range operators?
Yeah.
That Swifty has? So it's going from 0 to 53, less than 53. So that, or no, 50. It'll probably come out with 54 as the count. Because of 53 cards.
Oh, okay. Well,
something like that.
something's not quite right with the math there, but I'm assuming we might have to check our boundaries, David. We may have a bug in there you don't know about. That's interesting. Well, it started at 0, and if it stops before it gets to the end, 0 is your extra number that nobody thinks about. Like if I have 53 cards, I don't count to 53. I start at 0 and I count to 52. So I think you might. It looks like it should be right, but we could test the boundaries as well and see if we get we randomly get the topmost card and if we randomly get the bottommost card in case we accidentally dropped that. So those are like 2 more test cases we could add.
Well, I've done a lot of manual testing, and I know it works.
Well, you don't want to stop that, David. You could just keep manual testing away.
I've manual tested for weeks on this thing.
Okay. Well, that sounds like we probably don't want to have to do that again.
I'd be out of work.
There's a dump at the bottom too. Why is there a dump at the bottom?
Because I had to test.
What is going on?
Okay,
you're dumping data out, aren't you? You're doing some. I'm going to dump all over this code, David says, and he did. He's got dumps. I see every other method. You were doing some hardcore manual stuff, is what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, hey, let's try to. Okay, so here's my proposal: is we learn how to mock that random part, and then we probably need to talk about how to test the grader method as well. Because I was saying, there's, well, let me think about this. This is a pretty small function. I was thinking we might have to use a technique called Reverse TDD, but you're doing everything. This function only has one responsibility that I can see, and that is to come up with a random card. And so it's pretty tight. I was predicting, David. I don't know why. Must have been something I saw in my iMessages. That'd be a lot more body to this function. We'd have to do Reverse TDD, but it somehow got simplified quite a bit. So we could just get down to it. So there's a couple of ways we could test that. So let me highlight here. The code is very, testable, except for this piece here. And that's the piece where either our unit test is going to pick a number and expect it always to get it back, and random is going to break us. Well, that's what will happen. So we either inject, we wrap that with a class, right? And then we can inject it from our test, or we make that a function that we override. So that one piece that I have highlighted. So what flavor of this would you like? It's like ice cream. There's multiple flavors.
Okay, I think I'll go with the let's make a function.
Okay, so if this is for the Java developers in the crowd here. Oh my goodness, look at that. There's an extract method. Well, I was gonna say if only, but wow. Did you know that would work, David?
Yeah, I knew there was an extract method. Yeah.
Dang.
It sometimes works.
Wow. Okay. What do you want to name that method? What should we name it?
Almost random.
Well, it is random.
Right, I thought we were making the one that
functionality will be randomness.
Okay, randomness is a great function.
Randomness. All right. And that's going to return back an integer. So I think we could say, actually, we could probably say something a little bit more spiffy, like, hang on a second, I want to refactor that name. Rename to, wow, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. It shows you all the places that it's going to do it.
So it's going to be random. It's going to return an integer. So it's returning an integer, but what's it doing? It's going from 0 to card count, right?
Yeah.
So random card. How about that?
Random card. Okay.
Do we need to say...
It's not a card.
I know. What do you want to call it?
It's not a card. It's the card index, and it's not actually... Yeah. Yeah.
That works for me. Yeah, I agree with you. It's not returning a card object, right?
Yeah.
It's returning int, so... All right. Well, cool. So if we ran the test, it will still probably pass. Very high chance. So we're testing if the refactoring worked, because we just refactored the code.
This is kind of like going to Vegas, baby.
Build succeeded.
We should be, yeah, speaking of Vegas, did you bring any money today?
Test succeeded.
Yay!
Gotta find my money roll. Where's my money clip? All right, it succeeded again. All right, so now in our test random card, that's right here. We have to do something now, because I'm not going to be so wishy-washy. I'm going to say, let's test that it's equal to assert
23.
equal
23 is my favorite integer.
to 23. I'm glad it wasn't 54. Or -5. Why didn't people have favorite negative numbers? What's up with that, David?
Yeah. That's a ponder that for a while.
Build succeeded.
All right, so I'm going to run it.
Test failed.
Oh, see, the test failed. Should we put any bets on that it fails twice in a row?
I'll bet that it does twice in a row. I got a 1 in 50. This is better than roulette.
Yeah, right. All right, so cool. So we now have our failing test that says, hey, it should be returning a random number of 23 because our test is looking into the future and it's expecting to get 23 back. So now we need to like make it happen. So now instead of testing on deck, we're going to use a partial mock strategy to overwrite part of its behavior. And let's see, is that an extension? Ooh, I don't know if I've done it exactly this way before. There's an extends. Wow, I got to remember what syntax I'm in. How do I extend something in
How do you write an extension?
Yeah, I'm going to try to declare it right on that line.
Oh, I don't know how to do it in line, but you would write an extension, I think, down here.
Okay, we could do it that way and then look it up later.
What's the extension thing? How do you spell extension? Extension.
Oh.
Deck. What's the syntax for a class? Yeah.
You just put curly brace, right? I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And then our function was called random card index, and it's a function. Oops. Apparently I'm typing into something else. Hopefully I'm typing into something. Okay, function. What's it called? Sorry, random card index. Random card index. And it doesn't take any arguments, I think, and it returns a int.
Yeah, and okay.
And that int will be 23.
But we already have that written.
Well, we have to write. This is our mock index, by the way, partial mock.
Okay, I don't understand that, but
so we're testing DEX code except for one piece, and that's the random card index. You cannot find return. Whoops, typed it wrong. Does that make sense or not?
I don't understand it yet. No, but keep going.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a new class now.
You can't rename it while you're trying to extend it. You have to extend the real name, deck. Yeah.
But it needs a type though. What's the type name? Do we put it over on the left-hand side?
Well, the type is deck, so you're extending the actual type deck.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to do that because okay. I'm probably being picky, but that means everywhere there's a deck, it will start using our extension, and I don't want that. I want to use just this one, the scope of this test. I want to use a extension of it. So here, let me do it a different way. Let's not use an extension. Okay. Let me do it the other. This is another way that should work. But and then before we sign off, we should try to do it in line because that's the ideal way. And I think it's just a colon to do extension. Except I got to come up with a better name. I can't call it deck. So now we can type partial mock or deck partial mock.
Partial, yeah. It's okay.
And now we've partially mocked deck. So we're testing. We got all of deck's code is intact, and we were going to just overwrite one piece of it.
Okay.
And we want to use this now up here in this one random test. That's where we need it.
Yeah. Click on random test over there and it'll go to it. But,
Oh, good idea.
or you could scroll up. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to use deck partial mock or partial mock deck. I'm not sure what's the best
That's
way.
it. Partial mock.
And everything else is done. So I think we can run the test and see if it passes. It should pass. This is where we should get the money out again.
Field succeeded.
Okay. I'm going to say no.
Test failed.
Ah! I like how you call it microseconds before it shows up. That must be the delay. You probably already knew because of the delay.
Well, I was basing it on the fact that I don't think in partial mock you overrode random card. Go down there. You overrode random card index, not random card.
But I think that's the name of the function. And by the way, do we have to annotate it with a override, or does it care? I know I'm thinking Java here, but does Swift care about declaring your overrides?
I don't know. I
Okay.
have never overridden a function in Swift land in my life.
Well, boom! We're gonna do a lot of stuff today. We'll have to do some googling maybe. But
I'll hit the Google.
so
You fix that because that's not
Alright.
the right thing.
You don't think it is? It's called random card index. Boom. Well, okay. What actually happened? Let me actually look at the test. It says this. I got a 44 instead of a 23. So if it's still calling random, I'll hit. If I run it again, I should get another number other than 44.
Yep.
Test failed.
And now I got an 18. So yep, I'm clearly being random, David. It's so if I double check, I got deck, partial mock, da 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 da. So I'm using my partial mock class. That part.
And you're
is,
calling random card.
yeah. Now let's look at that code. Maybe I missed.
So you're
Where is? How do I get to random? Well, okay, we got to open on. Yeah. This one.
yeah.
It's calling
like-
random card, which is good because that's calling the
That's the real
code that's under
function.
test. But then inside there, it's calling random card index. All right.
Oh, okay.
So random card index is. I don't know why it's called file private. That could cause me some problem. I think that's something.
Well, it's
oh,
only
that's
used-
interesting.
It's only used locally.
Except it isn't. I'm using it in my test case to override. All right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, somehow. Makes sense, but it ain't working.
Well, I took out the file private, which
Okay,
might,
you think that's gonna help?
that's getting me out into weird land there. I'm not sure if that would have an impact or not. It may not have. So the first thing is, did I get the name right? So random card index, all spelt the right way, and it returns an int. And if I go to the back to the test.
But that particular function, all right, that particular function returns the random one, and you want to hit this one.
Yep.
Okay.
So I want to proper override it. I want to override it. That's the partial mocking strategy. I'm going to override part. I'm going to mock part of that class, but not all of it. All right,
Okay.
so that looks good now, but I don't know if it's going to override this. We'll probably have to do some Googling.
Yeah.
Build failed.
Don't. Oh, look at this. Overriding declaration requires override keyword.
Click.
Oh, right. All right, let's do
Click
that.
it, it'll put it in for you.
Oh,
Click the little round thing. And then click fix over on the other side. Yeah. They wouldn't want to make it too easy.
All right, this is looking promising because the compiler is starting to get our intent.
It's catching up
And-
with us.
What do you think, David? Is this going to be the moment of truth?
This is it.
Is this it? Is
Test
it?
succeeded.
Oh,
you did it. Oh my gosh, that is complex. You got a thing pointing to a thing that points to another thing that goes over this way.
Well,
You expect
Here's-
a little guy like me that's been coding since we only use zeros and one on stone tablets
well,
to understand.
if this code was written by somebody from TDD.Academy rather than, hey, just write the code Academy, it would have already been designed to be testable. So you needed flexibility, David. You needed this flexibility because you got a piece of functionality that you can't test, and you had to have a way to control that variable.
And now I've got control over it.
Yes, and I think we can clean up the syntax a little bit.
23 all the time.
I mean, I'd be happy with this. This is okay, but I think we can level it up by declaring that inside the actual test. Okay, I think Swift uses the same idea, but this is a named class, but we can use an unnamed class and override it up here in the test body.
Okay.
So let me take a guess at how it works. And if you want to Google it while I'm doing this, that's fine too.
Now, well, the problem is we're still using the same computer and the same mouse, so I can't Google.
Okay.
And that is a problem of all pairing stations. They don't know when to separate the two.
This wouldn't have happened with Screen Hero. Actually, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think it would. So here's my guess is how it would work. Okay. So I'm just going to create a closure right behind there, right? And then I'm going to copy this override into there.
You're going to copy? You are going to copy? You're going to play cop? Oh, sorry.
I don't see the cop. Let's see. Okay. Let's see if copy pasting works. You know, so far the pairing today has worked pretty well in Zoom. Not like that other day.
Yeah.
Where I was like bad mouthing how much it costs for these pairing tools because Zoom's good enough, and then the very next day it just didn't work. All right, so deck So here's a possibility, but now in order to see if it works, I need to change my test a little bit so I can make sure I'm testing the right thing. I'm going to change it to a different number. I'm going to try 24. Okay, so if this test passes, it's going to tell us.
You got an argument pass call takes no arguments.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know what I'm doing. We probably got to Google this. All right. My hand's off the keyboard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What I imagined was sensible didn't work.
Okay. We want to do tell me what to Google here.
So override. Okay. Swift override class inline.
All right.
That's a method, though. Well, that might be the same answer, though.
Let's get down here to the answers. Yeah. All right. Inline your code with image processing.
So utility has an enum with get image. I'm going to say this. You might use closures inline. I'm not really.
I don't see it.
Is he saying he overrided? Yeah, I'm not sure what that's either. That doesn't. I don't understand that one. Maybe try different.
Okay.
There. All right, I like that one. Uh-oh, what's this? There's no equivalent in syntax as far as I know. Let closure class, not so anonymous class, some protocol.
That is
so that didn't work. Keep scrolling. So it's got the highest voted one. I don't know. It's not looking good for us. All right, now empty class. So empty class below, he said let working class equals empty class, and then he just did a closure with EC in EC some function.
EC is empty class, I suppose.
EC in this case would be a variable name for the closure, wouldn't it? All right, so he's got an empty class up there. And then he puts let working class equals empty class, and then he just declares this closure. So that's pretty close. I'm a little bit confused. I am confused about the EC in because he's declaring like a function in this closure. But I guess that's how he's trying to show that it worked. All right, that might work. So maybe we just change we just have to adjust just tiny adjustment to see if this works in the code.
Okay. Where do you want me to paste it? Right under here?
let's see, let deck equal, we take out our initializer. Isn't that what he did? Isn't that the only difference, is the initializer after deck isn't
You
supposed
may
to be
bring
there?
it back.
Yeah, so he's not initializing empty class. Okay, let's try it.
Okay,
We just gotta delete the
you're
parentheses
in
after
control.
deck on line
You're in-
133.
Oh, you want me to do it?
Yeah, go ahead, delete the, no, that's okay. Just delete the parentheses on line 133.
Okay, I have no idea what I'm trying to do.
So no, a little bit
I
more.
think you should drive.
Okay. Oops. It's always alarming to be typing and then I hear a bonk, which means I was typing in somewhere else. I don't know. I'm curious what I just deleted. Anyways, now what? Override can only be specified on class, argument passed to call. That takes no arguments. Yeah, I think we're going to end up not doing this because unless we can have a better Google search than that. Let's take another look at the Java, and maybe we end up living with declaring a class within our. I wonder if we could actually declare that class inside of a function. That would be a little better too. How about this? Let's try a different. Well, go ahead and hit back one more time and see if we see anything promising in the search you have. In your browser, hit. Okay, anonymous classes in Swift. That's really what we're talking about. So what is that? What's that about? What is this? It's a playground. Oh, somebody's trying something. Okay, so protocol, function hello, let closure equal a function that, and he's doing that stuff with about the not so anonymous. And then I see the thing about, this looks like a lot, this kind of looks familiar. See the next thing says class, empty class.
Then down here, there's the empty class thing again.
Overrides self? Well, that's a little different. What in the world? Let working class EC. Oh, that's why he did the sum function, by the way. I didn't know that part. He has he's overriding some function. Okay. All right, so he has a class. He has a variable that's pointing to a closure, and he has an init. And then below, he declares it, just like we talked about, but then he also passes in an implementation without using override, and he just says ECN, and he's just re-describing the function that he wants to override without using the word override. Oh, what's this say here? Right above that comment says, now you initialize empty class with a closure that sets whatever variable properties you want to override. And since he wants to override some function, see, he's overriding his variables, but he probably can't override. He's not showing he can override a method. He's using a function variable
Computed property
to be able to do this, which I don't know. We don't want to make our code hard to understand. So I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, okay, that could work, but I'm not sure that's a great idea. Let's keep going though. What else is down there? Empty class 2, some function. That doesn't look easy either. Let's keep scrolling. I'm not sold on that. Let's see. I don't see. I'm trying to see somebody just bloody override something, and maybe you can't.
Well, there is a keyword, override.
I know, but yeah, how do we use it with? All right, class external, class internal, some callback, function done does something. Okay, then somebody does. You cannot instantiate a protocol in Swift. You can, however. Let's skip that one. I think that there was another. There's a document. If you hit back on the browser. What's this medium one? Anonymous classes in Swift, because that's what I'm talking about. Making an anonymous class just convenient. I'll be disappointed if there's one. If it's possible that Java can do something better than Swift. This will be a little disappointing.
But you could write about it and become famous. we're seeing that my internet is having problems. I'm down here in Texas where all the government is deregulated, so we don't have power for some people. So I think they're pulling the plug on my internet connectivity every now and then. I have power. My internet provider doesn't have power. I mean, go figure.
Wow. Well, since I could see you on Zoom, I think that things are still kind of working.
Yeah, it's I don't know what it is. It's just every new call to something takes forever, and that's what we're seeing. So it's not DNS. I checked my DNS and it seems to be working fine. I don't know where it is.
Well, I think okay. So just to let me comment on a couple of things. That inheritance down there. Sorry, that link. There's a link. You have a couple promising links in here. They still may show us really complicated using variable function pointers as a way, but there's a couple that look promising if they look like they're talking about the same topic. Like I'm looking at my view controller, UI controller over, yeah, that one, and he's doing the override right in there. I wish I could see that one. see the lesson 5, learn Swift 4 with the Bob.
Yeah, I'm this one right here. I'm trying to hit that one.
I was talking about the one above it, but they're probably all going to be problematic. Well, I think we probably ought to finish up our current, or the one that works then, and because we're getting held up waiting for the internets there.
Yeah. Do you want to go back to the
go ahead
thing?
and take that. I would toss what we have then and just live with. Not toss that, but or undo that until you get back the version that was just using our declared named partial mock.
I think that code.
Oh, just got not quite. You got to keep going or type in the word partial. There it is. There. Now it'll work. So that test will pass. Except that.
Build
that
failed.
should pass. Build fail. Argument passed makes no. Deck partial mock. Deck partial mock.
All right.
Well.
Where's my random again? I lost
Argument passed to call makes no. I think it needs a. I don't know why it thinks that. So that's an initializer that takes no arguments, and we initialize it. Deck partial mock. So maybe a clean build's necessary.
I'm gonna build again.
Yeah.
I'm gonna consider that it got. We talked too long and it forgot everything it knew.
Build failed.
Okay, so the test build is failing.
Yeah. Says argument passed. Yeah, I don't know why. It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay, I'm gonna clean the build then.
Yeah.
And rebuild.
Dirty build.
Dirty build.
Build generated issues.
Yeah, that's okay. That's the deprecation.
Build failed.
No!
Yeah, go ahead and click on that. See if it gives any further information. I don't understand why it's giving us that trouble. On the on your screen, line 133, that
scope. Where's empty class being referred to? Empty class should not be in here anywhere. Okay. Empty class doesn't exist, but it's still finding something with empty class. Like something.
So
yeah. I might have to get out of the car and run around the traffic light and get back in.
So you like to code in your car? Is that what's going on here?
No, not like that.
So he's zooming in his car. It must be really casual over there in the Dallas area.
Yeah. Okay, let's rerun the test. Retest.
Build generated issues.
That's okay. We can live with the deprecated. Come on.
Build succeeded.
Oh, there we are. You just built it again. Is that all you did? I don't understand why it built now.
I cleaned the
Build again?
the build several times, and it
Oh.
finally,
Just a dirty, dirty build, huh, David?
yeah, it's a dirty rat. Okay.
Did
So
the test passed?
the
Okay.
test passed because we
All right.
have our partial mock down here.
So here's a little bit of a refinement. Can we copy that class declaration and put it inside of a function? I don't know if that'll work, but that would actually satisfy a lot of the problems with having this class hanging out there.
I don't know what you're talking about. Sure, you can try it. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just a simple pig. I don't understand anything.
All right, let's see here. We're gonna move this baby out of there, and we're gonna put it where we care about it, which is in our test, which was right here. And I don't know where to stick it. I'll stick it at the top and see what the compiler thinks about that. Yeah, let's try that. Is it Apple B? I forgot how to make these
Class
things. Yeah.
Build
that's right.
succeeded.
Nice.
inside a function. That's weird.
Nice. Well, this
Okay.
makes me happy because it's nicer
Encapsulated.
to have, yeah, you got it. Because I want to write 2 more tests, and they're going to want 2 different kinds of. They want different random numbers in this one. So this test, did it pass yet? Let me run the test, and then I'm going to write another test. Because
Bill-
David, I'm worried that we don't have I want to be confident that our boundary conditions are working.
Oh, okay. I know the boundaries are working because I've manually tested the bazooza out of this thing.
Well, let's just add an automated test to make it really.
You think it
Awesome.
can out-test me?
Yeah, I'm afraid so, David. That's what computers are for. Let's see. So this
It
random
can't label
card
it
is
too.
just random. Okay. But the other one I want to check is, can we get the last card and can we get the first card? All right, so random. So test random card. Which one you want to do? The first card or last card?
Last card.
All right, last card. And the last card, David says, is 53. So that means the biggest card index possible is 52.
No, that's the other way. It's one more up from that, I think.
You want to try? I'm happy to try, though. You'll see something fun happen, I think.
Well, I think I have a thing called deck.cards.count. Can I use that?
Actually, I think you can because deck is in scope inside the class, I believe. Is that not correct? Is deck a class variable?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. That should be the same as 53 from what I understand. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's go with it.
Okay.
And I'm going to, let me think about this. How much money do I want to bet on this?
Build fail.
I'll bet you $1 something bad happens.
Like it fails?
I think that, well, yeah, something else. I think you'll get an exception. You'll get a stack overflow, not a stack overflow. You'll get, here, let's clean up the code a little bit here before I win my money. We don't need this anymore. Let's clean up a little bit. And we already tested that once. I don't think we need to test that again. Random card, we still need that. And the assert equals.
And you want to equal what? 52?
Yep.
You're saying 52. I'm saying 53. But it's
know.
not.
All right, that's right. You stick with your guns and you make that 53 or whatever you want. You can't use that variable outside. Oh, well, however you want to do it.
Can I do it like that?
Yeah, you can. You don't have to hide behind a variable. You can hide behind. You can just use a constant. That's right. And then I want to delete this print because I don't want to leave you with some legacy here, bad legacy.
I haven't figured out how to print the line like VI does. Delete a line.
Okay, let's run this baby.
Build succeeded.
All right, did you take me up on my bet? Am I getting a buck out of you
Yeah.
if this doesn't work?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see?
Oh, index out of range. Oh, I think that proves you right, doesn't it?
Exactly. Remember, your array starts at 0, man. The array starts at 0. Your top bound's always one less than what you think it is.
Okay, put it back in there and prove me wrong.
I already won my buck. That's all I need. I can leave now.
Okay. All right, I'll email you a buck.
Let's see how. Yeah. How do? Oh yeah, the back button's here. So 52. Because you have 53 elements, but they start at 0. That's why. Okay. And oh, do I have a test still running? Oh.
Yeah,
Build succeeded.
it leaves it running. So that's
Oh, because of the exception. That makes sense.
Woohoo!
Sweet.
All right.
Yeah. And so we just got one more boundary to check. This one I'm less worried about, but hey, let's just check it.
You're going to test 0?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you consider this over testing?
It's possible. If you said, Lance, I already have a automated test for that, not a manual test, for the 0th array, I would accept that. But I haven't heard you say that.
No,
And
I haven't.
I don't know if the random code could mess that up too. So we really want to see. Wouldn't it be interesting, David, if you had a bug in there and you didn't know it because you just never were lucky enough or unlucky enough to.
Yeah.
It's like when I use my iTunes on my phone, it always plays the same song over and over again, even though it's on random. For some reason, it always picks the one, this one song.
Oh, yeah?
All the others are random, but the first song is always the same song. That's not random at all.
It's predictably random.
Yeah, and I'm sick of that first song. It's like, how do I'm like tired of it now. I hate it. Like
Yeah,
for the last
my
10
wife
years, I've heard that song every time as the first
My
song.
wife does that on the Amazon whatever play this artist,
Alexa?
and it's always the same first song.
Yeah, so there's some
Yeah.
goofy thing going on there. And they've both done the same thing. That's weird. All right, I'm running first card.
You'll
So if we
succeed.
get back a 0th card, do we get the 0th card out of the
Test
card
succeeded.
index?
Woohoo!
All right. So let's run them all, and then we can call this. Oh,
May I drive?
Sure.
I think that.
It's
button
true.
is-
We could have created a regression yet. We don't know if there's some. We've only been running a couple tests. Maybe we regressed something.
Okay, everything worked except test dump, which we knew we had a bad dump.
Well, hey,
Hey,
David, we didn't get to the reverse TDD part because it was too simple. This code.
Oh, was it?
Well,
You mean you're gonna leave us hanging?
there's no. So here's the question, or here's why I say that. Let's go to the partial. Sorry, let's go to this. Jump to definition. Oh, it's control something. Huh. So here's the thing. Okay, here's why I say that. If I take that line out, will the test pass? And it won't compile because keys array is
Needed.
used somewhere, right? Or
Mhm,
is it?
right below it.
Oh, there it
2
is.
lines.
Yeah. So it's used somewhere. All right. So I reversed one line. It won't even compile. So if I reverse this line, it still won't compile. And if I reverse this line, I'm reverse TDD in this, I could take that one out, okay? Now, the hypothesis is, do you think the test will fail or pass if I take that line out?
I think it'll fail.
Yeah, so we'll prove it now. We'll run the tests. Or actually, I should just run the one test I care about, but so I may have made it a little bit worse than I needed to.
Test succeeded.
Okay, the test succeeded. Now that's crazy. Maybe we just discovered something.
Oh, I'll tell you why that is, because current index and current key are two variables that I'm trying to keep in sync.
Oh.
And we're just messing with index. And this is the thing that keeps index and keys the same. So we should have broken something else with the code, but we don't have any test around it.
So you just proved me wrong that this code is complicated enough we discovered something using reverse TDD. I could take that code out, and I did. The tests all still pass. And now the exercise is, David, is to write a test that will make that fail so you can put that code back in. You're not allowed to uncomment that until you have a test that drives you to uncomment it.
Okay.
So do we have time for that, or do we need to save that for later? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's one line. It's current key. So what's current key doing? Where's the code the logic that uses current key? Let's see. Since I commented out. Oh, here it is. Let's find.
Yeah, it's just that I got to keep those two things in sync, because sometimes I use the index to get to something, and sometimes I use the key, dictionary key,
right,
to get to something.
So what's the case that will break? What test can we write that fails because in random, we no longer set it to the current index?
It would be. I don't know if we're gonna have to call it. I'll go figure that out.
Okay, so we'll leave you with this challenge, David. Since we're not the Oh Hell Just Code It Academy, the Reverse TDD is the process of finding code that somebody from Oh Hell I Just Coded It Academy, they wrote a bunch of code. So Reverse TDD is to comment out the code and then bit by bit write a unit test that fails that allows you to uncomment some of the code. You're not trying to write one test that allows you to uncomment the whole body, but you're trying to target each piece of that code. The idea is to do it in baby steps is what I'm trying to say. So you now have a baby step left. I thought I didn't know there was another piece of functionality I had no idea about, and we just discovered it by using this process.
Okay.
So
That's
another
good.
example. I'll leave you with the folks that on the show, and so how I would do this naturalistically if somebody from Oh Hell Let's Just Code It Academy showed up and they had like this function previous and they said, hey Lance, how do I write unit tests for this? I'd say I'd do this. I go, okay, let's just put this here and this here, and see David has to get rid of all his dumps because he has to test drive that back in there if he wants it. If you love it enough, David, you have to test drive that dump. And that's what I would do. And then write a test for previous, and that would have forced you to uncomment some of that code.
Okay.
And if you can do it in smaller steps, that's better than say, oh, I have to uncomment all the code in one big shot. This code is, I think, fairly small. You'd probably have to write 2 tests for it because we discovered that functionality with current key and current index. That's one piece, and then the other piece is getting the previous card out, which is what I assume this thing does.
Yeah. It returns the previous card to the current card.
So yeah, so you basically have to write at least 2 tests for previous to get this code uncommented, and then dump. You got to write a test for dump if you want it, and print.
And print. Okay.
And pretty soon you'll think, oh, that's just too much work. I'm going to delete print. I don't need that. And I go, yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, you're looking at some real non-TDD code. So.
Well, this is something I would do in the wild. So, yeah. Well, cool, man. That was a good show. I think we got mocking done. Oh, I wanted to say something here. Let me see if I can pull up a web browser. Can I find this on the fly? I want to, for those of you who are interested in a little bit more mocking, a tutorial, I want to point you at a...
I'm trying to get you a web browser, and you're trying to do something.
Oh,
so
you can give me a web browser, I guess.
Okay, hold still. Don't tap your fingers.
Oh, sorry.
All right.
Type in codingstories.io. It's a URL. There you are. Hit enter.
Wow.
And then go down to featured stories. See that first one, TDD Hello World to Mocking. So here's your early, so folks, this is your easiest introduction to object mocking that I can imagine. There may be an easier one, but this is the easiest one that I've come across. And it's written as a coding story. A coding story is a story that's told through code, and it gives you, it uses GitHub, actually it's GitLab technology to create an easy way to do diffs as you follow the steps in this coding story.
Can I click read the story?
Go ahead, click on it. So there's the text on the left, there's the code in the middle, and then there's the tree on the right. And it walks you through this scenario of how to do what's called TDD Hello World, which is supposed to be really easy, right? To mocking. So this is a story about how you can take something really simple like Hello World and have to require adding a mock object. So there's an added feature after Hello World that requires you to do a mock object.
Okay.
So that's a good, how do we say, kata for those of you who are interested in learning to do mocking. It's written in Java, but you could do the same thing in, I mean, Hello World here, folks. You could do it in Swift or whatever language you care about and implement it the same way.
All right. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so that's to help you more with mocking, and we just talked a little bit about reverse TDD. David, don't forget I commented out your code a little bit, so you have a bug in there to find you have to test drive it. Remember the whatever it's called, current index or something like that. Yeah. So anything else you want to say?
No, I enjoyed it. Thanks. I'm learning.
I think that was a good show. We learned. Hey folks, if anybody knows how to do anonymous classes in Swift, let us know. It doesn't look like it's quite as straightforward as say Java.
TDD.Academy. Yeah.
But all right, I'm out.
See ya.
I'm ready to exit. See ya. Hey David, well you should let the cat run across your keyboard again. See what happens next show.